And we'll get started. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
How are we today?
Good. How are you? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Definitely. So I just want to briefly go over what we have going on in April and May, even though I don't think it's gone out to print or on the website yet. So this is your place to find out. Maybe write down the dates so you remember to sign up for them. And I just want to advise everyone that we are filming today. Is that okay, Stacey? Yeah. Okay. Good. And you can turn off your camera if you don't want to be on the film. So our April programs, of course, today, and then on the 13th, we have Composer's Corner. We have the Ayurvedic Part 2 with Dr. Shaw. We have Chinese Poetry Appreciation with Mei Hung. We have Songs of the Revolution with Diane Therese. This is, she's going to play instruments and sing songs from the American Revolution. She dresses up in period piece and she comes highly recommended. So that might be really an interesting program. We have Mushrooms 101 with Fat Moon Farm. We have a Qigong demonstration with John Saya, home cooking with Lynn, musical adventure in Russia with Robert Finley, which will be really interesting. These are all his personal photos, and I think he's probably going to play some music with that too. We have Dancers Dialogue with guest Tessa Intolini. She is a West Coast swing person. And then in May, ooh, why did it go back?
How do you do the volume?
Sorry about that. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I guess when I try to let people in, it does that. Stacey, if there's anyone on there, can you let them in for me until I finish the PowerPoint? For some reason, it keeps going backwards when I go to let them in. So we have Simply Delicious. Ashan is going to come back and share with us. We have Robert McDowell coming back to finish up his talk on, he wrote a book on The Agitator and the Politician, which is on President Lincoln. Creative Journaling with Ann Severson. We have Walking Winchester on WinCam. So we're going to go out to Right Log Farm and see what's going on there since the pandemic and maybe check out their new barn. We have Design Fundamentals with Stacey. Yay! Composer's Corner with Mark Cross, who's originally from Stoneham. Ayurvedic Series Part 3 with Dr. Shaw. Balancing a Joyful Life in the Digital Age with Mei Hung. She'd like us to think about what that means and to maybe debate that on her program. We have Art Application to Improve Health with Jennifer Zhang. And then we have a very special program, The Voyage of Mercy with Stephen Pulio. And you can also, if you want to pick that book up, you can get that at Bookends. Acupressure demonstration with John Saya, Modern Architecture in Culturally Sustained Japan. This is going to be a big deal, big program, amazing woman. And then we have Privacy Workshop. We have Dancers Dialogue with guest Hitsa Yu, who is from LA. And she's going to check in with us and talk about Korean dance, which might be really interesting. Home Cooking with Lynn again at the end of the month. So this event was made possible by a generous grant from the Cummings Foundation. Thank you so much to them. And that brings us to today. So today we're going to learn how our wardrobe can help us style our home. I think this is really fascinating, and I really appreciate Stacey being here. She is our interior design guru, and we are so excited to hear what you have to say today. So thank you so much for being with us, Stacey. And I'm going to turn that over to you. Let me highlight you, if I can figure out what I'm doing here. Okay, so let me just highlight you. All right.
Great.
Well, hello, everyone. I wanted to say another huge thank you for being here with me on such a gorgeous spring day. I know it's hard to pull yourself away from being outside, so I won't make this presentation quite as long as some of the others so that we can go out and enjoy the day. But I did want to take a moment to tell you all how much I really do appreciate spending this time with you, and I love answering each and every one of your questions. And this time together really does fill my cup and bring me a lot of joy to share these tips and tricks with you. I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you being here. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stacey Martin. I own and operate an interior design firm here in Stoneham called the Freshmaker. And today I'm going to share some fun tips and tricks with you about styling your home via your wardrobe. So without further ado, let me share my presentation with you. And that rhymed, I meant to do that. Just, there we go. All right, can everyone see it okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good, excellent. So I will ask all of you if you can mute your microphones during the presentation, just so there's not a lot of background noise. However, I will encourage any questions that you have. As we're going through the presentation, I'll pause a little bit on each slide to give you an opportunity to ask those questions. So just feel free to unmute yourself during that time and ask away, and I'll answer them as we go. So as aforementioned, today we are talking about using your wardrobe to find your design style and creating a look you'll love with looks you love. So before we get started on the how, we're going to talk a little bit about the why, which is really fun and a little trip. We're going to take a trip together down memory lane and talk a little bit about my background. So before I made the transition into interior design, which has honestly always been my true passion, ever since I was a small child, I began my career in the fashion industry. And what a large part of my job was to travel around across the globe and attend fashion shows and fashion weeks all over and really keep my finger on the pulse of the trends and what was happening in high fashion. And I would take lots of photos, I would write reports and collect all of the information and come back and give a trend report. And one of the things that I noticed was that what was happening in high fashion would translate downstream. About 2 years later, you would start to see it in market. But it didn't just translate into apparel, because beautiful combinations of color, texture, textiles really transcend a category. And so you would start to find those influences not only translating into fashion, but into interiors and furniture as well. So it kind of led me to this realization that why can't your own personal fashion influence the interiors and the choices that you're making in your own home? And here on the left is just a fun little highlight, a little snippet of one of the trend reports that I had put together in the past. This might be from as far back as like 2007. And the common thread of this particular trend report, as you can see, is metallic threads and metallic touches. So using your own fashion to influence your interior design style. Why? Well, there's a million style quizzes out there. You have Pinterest, which has a gazillion beautiful photos. You have Instagram. There are all these images being thrown at you, and it can be very overwhelming. Not to mention the fact that after you take your design quiz,
I have no idea.
What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought someone was asking a question. After you take the design quiz, it can tell you what your style is. Boho, Japandi, yes, that's a real style. But what does that mean to you? How can you translate that information into something that feels relevant and works for your space. And the number one thing that I hear from clients, honestly, is that when we try to talk about design style, they say, you know what, I don't know what my design style is. I know I like a little bit of this, or even I don't know what I like. I can't tell if I'm liking something because I'm seeing a million images of it all over the internet, or if I actually really do like it because it resonates with me. And so those of you who have come to my presentations many times before know that I really hammer home the idea that the home should reflect you and who you are, how you want to feel when you're in this space, and how you want to live your life, and not what's trending on Pinterest or Instagram or that sort of thing. So that leads us to finding your style unicorn. It is hiding in your closet. So if you think about the items that make you feel good, that make you feel beautiful, that make you really feel on top of the world and like you're really on your A game, I think honing in on what it is about those items will really help you hone in on what speaks to you, what resonates with you, and what you might like to surround yourself with in your own space. So how would we do that? First up, what outfits make you feel your absolute best? And don't forget shoes and accessories. I'm talking about the whole outfit. Even think about the jacket that you would wear. If you think about the maybe 3 outfits that you love to put on, I mean, they make your body feel good, because ultimately interior design is of having, it's emotional. You have a visceral reaction to the space that you're in. And so when you wear an outfit that really raises your energy, it really makes you feel confident, it makes you feel good, there are things about that that we can take and apply them to your space. So think about it. Think about the outfits that really make you feel your absolute best. Take those 3 outfits and lay them out all together. So outfit 1, outfit 2, outfit 3. Put them on your bed, put them on a newly vacuumed floor, maybe lock the dogs in the kitchen, and really look at the common threads, so to speak, and see what they have in common. First off, look at their colors. So it can be helpful to have a little notebook with you while you're doing this and just take little notes. And I'll tell you how this will translate into your room in a minute. So we're just going to go a little step by step. So first, you have all your outfits laid out on the bed. What colors do they have in common? And we're going to use the example of Liza here. I'm calling her Liza. And the outfit that she's wearing, this will be her favorite outfit in the whole world. So let's look at the color palette first. Liza looks like she really loves a collection of warm neutrals. But if you look a little bit closely, you can see the neutrals have a little bit of a dark color pop with the buttons. It looks like she might be wearing a dark bag around her shoulder. So take the color palette and then you can expand into the lighter range and expand into the darker range to really round out the palette, to make sure that you have a little bit at each end of the spectrum, because that'll really make it feel complete and pulled together. If you have too much of the same, it's going to feel a little bit flat and it's not going to really sing, and you might not know why. So taking those key colors and making a little bit of a darker selection and a lighter selection in that palette will start to give you the overarching color palette that might work best, might make you feel best in your home. Then once you're done with color, think about the fabric and the materials that are common in all of the pieces. Again, Eliza, I can't remember what we called her. But either way, she tends to love natural materials. She's got a nice wool turtleneck. She's got some brushed canvas pants, a felt hat. She's got some leathers. So for her, natural materials are key. So perhaps a nice worn leather sofa would work in her space with a felted wool throw and some brushed canvas pillows. So you can start to see how some of these elements can certainly translate into an environment that would make her feel just as good as it does to put on that outfit that she loves. Okay, so we've talked about the color commonalities and the fabric and material commonalities. Next, we're going to talk about prints and patterns. And prints and patterns are a great way to add that extra dose of personality, but they can also be a great way to add a dose of texture. And especially when you're working in a tonal color palette, textures are a key component in making it feel that it has depth and making it feel a little bit more pulled together. So because Liza has these natural materials and these neutral color palettes, she doesn't really have anything that has an overt pattern, but upon closer inspection, some of her more tailored pieces have a subtle herringbone or a slub basket weave, which has a great texture. So pulling that, she could pull this neutral herringbone into her rug, and that beautiful pattern could be the rug that anchors her whole space, for example. So thinking about how to pull those in a way that ties back into the outfit would definitely be key. Now, once you've done that, look at all the items and think about the general vibe that they possess. So are most of your pieces formal or dressy? Are they mostly jeans and nice t-shirts? So it goes a little bit more casual or relaxed. So think about that and write down 3 main words that you think would describe that style. And this comes into play because now you have things that you can put into a search engine and actually search for pieces on the internet that fit into these classifications. So for example, if Liza wanted help finding her sofa, her look, I would say, is polished, tailored, and classic. Another word for classic could be timeless. And those are kind of overarching words that could apply not only to apparel, but to furniture. So if she were searching for a sofa, she might write neutral, brushed canvas, tailored sofa. And now all of a sudden, in a sea of possibilities, she's narrowed down a search that fits into the criteria that she didn't know that she was even wanting to look for. Does that make sense? Like, she knows that she loves to wear those clothes that are polished, tailored, and classic. So if she identifies keywords that describe her outfit, she can put all of the things, the color, the material, and now these keywords into the good old Google and find things that now apply to her versus getting a bajillion answers and not knowing what direction to pick or where to go. And now the last thing I love to think about is purchase history. So where do you love to buy the pieces that make you feel really good? Do you buy them mostly at vintage stores? Do you love the thrill of the hunt and going vintage shopping? Or do you find that you like to go to high-end boutiques a little bit more? If you are like me, I love a good vintage piece. I love that patina. I love that history that comes with it, the energy. So I might find my accessories at a vintage furniture store or like a Savers, Antique Small, that sort of thing. I may even go to a vintage clothing store and pick up some cool vintage denim or some cool, an old flannel or an old t-shirt and take it to my seamstress, who's really my sister-in-law. It sounded very fancy, but it's really not. And have her make me a pillow or a throw or something that gives me that vintage vibe that I want. And then I can mix it with more classic, timeless pieces that I would buy from a different store, because personally, that's how I like to dress. I like classic, timeless, tailored pieces mixed with a little bit more personality. And so that's kind of how I would start to work toward crafting my own space. So we just kind of went through the how of tackling your wardrobe, and I wanted to take a minute to see if anyone has any questions about the process kind of so far. Awesome. It was also a good chance for me to get some water. So now we're going to look at a few illustrated examples and talk a little bit about outfits and show you how exactly they've been translated into a room. And I think this might really help you guys see a side-by-side comparison. So this is Erin. Erin tends to have a more relaxed wardrobe. She loves neutrals. She loves pretty tops paired with a great pair of jeans. She loves a little bit of texture and distressing on her jeans, but she loves a nice leather handbag and a cute pair of tailored shoes. So if this is Erin's favorite outfit, I would start by creating a neutral background because she loves neutral pieces. So you can see the room here has cream colored walls and a white sofa. And you can look at the outfit and see that it has a nice cream colored sweater and a white shirt. So we're working again with those neutral pairings that she likes so much. And then because she loves to anchor her outfit with a nice pair of jeans, and her jeans tend to have some rips and a little bit of patina and texture, then the rug that I would choose is the sort of washed denim color with some textural elements on it. And I would use that to anchor her space since she anchors her outfits with a nice pair of jeans. And then we know that she loves her leather handbags. So taking some leather accents and sprinkling them throughout the room in the form of some pillows. You could also do like a beautiful leather topped coffee table perhaps, or a leather wrapped vase. Whatever kind of speaks to you. There's definitely no rules, but pulling in some of that leather in an accessory because she loves a leather bag kind of helps tie that all together. And then she punctuates her outfit with a nice dark pair of tailored dress shoes. So having a nice tailored lamp in the corner and a dark color and a few other darker moments, like the pillow and on the corner of the couch has a little bit, it looks like of a darker trim around it. So working those darker elements in there to really, again, make this space feel like it has a little bit more depth. So neutrals, a little bit of denim, and a little bit of leather for Erin's casual outfit. Example B, this might be an outfit that I would wear. So this woman, we'll call her Donna. She loves to wear a little bit more of an she loves an edgier look and a graphic tee, but she's still pulled together. Her shirt's tucked in, her hair's pulled up. She's got an expensive pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses on. And so she's a little bit edgy, but she still looks elevated. So I would call this an elevated, casual, cool look. So Erin, or Donna, I forget their names already, but anyway, she wears a lot of black. And so for her room, I would do a lot of grays and blacks and layered darks. So a dark gray wall here with a layering of a dark frame, a dark headboard, a dark lamp. That kind of gets a darker base that ties more into the wardrobes that the looks that she would tend to wear. And then pulling her love of a good graphic tee or a concert tee into a statement art piece is a great way to add that interest without making it the entirety of the room, just making it that one little statement piece, just as that t-shirt is functioning for her whole outfit. And then punctuating the rest of the room with little hits of accent colors just to up that edge a little bit and to make it feel a little bit more interesting. So example C, This outfit here, this woman loves to wear florals and she loves stripes, but she has a little bit of an edge with her cowboy boots. And so we can see that she doesn't take herself too seriously. So in order to translate this outfit into the room, I would again start with a neutral base. So taking cues from the leather bag and the leather shoes, you have a beautiful leather sofa here and a nice neutral gray sofa. And then you can kind of go crazy a little bit with the prints and the patterns because she tends to love to mix her florals and her stripes and her prints and her patterns. And maybe this is her favorite dress. So taking a few of those color cues and really making sure those are highlighted within the room would be really important. So that beautiful blue color that shows up in the dress and a little bit of pinks from there, you know, pulling those, you can see they've been pulled into the pillows and they've been pulled into some of the accessories, the lamp, the blue lamp, for example, and then pulling the stripes into another accessory form, as you can see here with the oversized poofs. So really thinking about her base is again kind of more of a casual base. She's got a leather boot, she's got a denim jacket. So making those pieces, the larger pieces in her living room or in her space, a little bit more neutral, and then going crazy with the florals and the stripes really kind of completes the room and ties back to the outfit. Any questions so far? Okay. I have this square that's showing up on my screen and I don't know how to get rid of it, but can you guys see it or no? Okay. Next example, which I think is probably what a lot of people are wearing these days, since we don't really have to get dressed up to go out anywhere anymore. I mean, it's just starting now, but basically a lot of casual athletic wear. Right, this in the fashion industry, this look is called athleisure, and athleisure is really all about tailored comfort. And so basically you can be active, you're on the go, but you still look put together. You can still move and you can still go throughout your day and do all the things. You can go to soccer practice, you can go to your yoga class, you can run to the grocery store, but you're not in your pajamas. You look put together and still cool. So for this outfit, tailored comfort, I would think a lot about, okay, this woman, she has an active lifestyle, she has an active family, kids, pets, the whole thing. So we would translate this look into tailored silhouettes, like the sofa and the accent chair, things that have really clean lines and look really visually put together, but those items would be upholstered in performance fabrics. So you could get dirt on them, you could spill the wine on them, the milk could be spilled on them, and it could easily be cleaned up and you could just be on your way. And then to incorporate the cozy part, the comfort part of the athleisure, the tailored comfort, incorporating lots of velvets and faux fur and lush carpeting and lots of throws and things that really amplify the comfort aspect of the look. And then making sure that all of those items are really pulled in the color palette that is the favorite color palette of the outfit. So here you have some grays, blacks, and a maroon. And that translates well into the room. So the black pieces serve as your accent colors. The overarching tone is gray. And then you have various maroon colors on either end of the spectrum. So maroon, as it gets lighter, goes to a nice, beautiful light pink. And then as it gets darker, it goes to almost like a really deep, dark purpley brown. So those colors are all incorporated in here. Again, making sure that you choose from the spectrum will make your whole color palette and whole environment feel a little bit more well-rounded. Now this look, this woman, she's a little bit more kind of flowy and airy and light. You can see that she likes more of a global look. She likes florals paired with lots of variety of lots of colors and geometrics and all of that kind of stuff. So overall, this look to me is a little bit more on the boho side, which is about pairing a variety of kind of global patterns and geometric prints with more floral prints and that sort of thing, and lots of colors. So in this space, you can see that the pinks and the reds and some of the blues have all been pulled in and translated into some of the pillows. It's a little bit in the artwork in the back and the vase on the table and in the pillow on the floor. So some of those things are a little bit obvious to translate, but then thinking again also about the vibe. So this is more of kind of a flowy, airy, light vibe. So hanging things from the ceiling would be applicable and would kind of tie back into that feeling, you know, a little bit of a vacation vibe. Some things that are a little bit more ornate or more natural materials. If you look at the woven sandals, you have the woven swing that matches that. You have some of the raw woods. So it also doesn't need to be an exact literal translation. Like I need to find this exact floral print to translate it into my house, but something that has that feeling that's in those colors of your favorite piece would be a really great place to jump off from. And this one I really like as well. Again, a little bit closer to my own personal style, this sort of rock and roll glam look. And the color palette here is very, very easy to translate into a room, just blacks and whites and grays. And so those really can look wonderful across a variety of surfaces and furniture pieces. However, pulling that rock and roll edge into a space without it feeling too thematic or a little bit too cheesy can be a little bit of a challenge. So if my client showed me that this was her favorite outfit, I would design the room on the left by curating a custom tailored banquette for the breakfast nook out of leather. It's a suede cushion and a leather surround. And the idea of making it tailored comes from the styling of the jacket and the styling of the boot. They're a little bit more form-fitting. They're a little bit, with the jacket zipped up, it's a little bit more of a tailored look, and same with the boots. And so taking cues from that, making a tailored banquette. And so the white, super easy, pulling in the white from the tank top in a variety of pillows across the banquette. And then the warm tones in her favorite pair of sunglasses and the heel from the boot, those are translated into the style of leg for the table and a nice reddish warm brown for the table. And then you can get some of those rock and roll elements in the texture in the metallic vase in the center of the table, which to me really feels a lot like the styling of the jean. And some of those cool, irreverent elements in the light fixture. And of course, artwork is a really, really great way to incorporate your fashion vibe into the space that you're working with. Don't forget your accessories. So if you are pretty satisfied with where your room is, but you feel like it just needs a little bit of zhuzhing or just needs a little bit more, you could use your favorite necklace to help inspire you. So let's say your favorite necklace here is this matte white stone with some antique brass or aged brass and a beautiful little tassel. So a few ways you could incorporate that into your space is perhaps with a matte white stone coffee table that has some aged brass legs. You can see here in the example with the lamp, an aged brass lamp with a white shade, brings some of that vibe of the tassel in with a pillow that has some fringe and a little bit of texture. And you can see the color palette again, brass, stone and a little bit of a warm neutral. You could use those elements as the building blocks for selecting the various things that you want to pull into your space as accessories. And again, it is totally, totally okay to mix metals. If you have some gold jewelry, but you also have some favorite pieces that are in silver, it is totally fine to mix all of those things together in one space as long as you have repeating elements. So if you have one thing that's silver and everything else is brass, the silver thing is really going to look like it doesn't belong. But if you have a silver lamp and you have a silver bowl on the table holding your remotes, and you have a silver vase, and then you have a brass floor lamp and a brass bookend and a brass detailing on a pillow, for example, now you can start to see how those mixing of metals feel a little bit more intentional and stylish. I have to get this square away from my screen. I don't know how. So let's recap. When you're thinking about you're thinking about the looks that really are meaningful to you, look in your closet and think about what colors do you love to put on your body. Do you notice that when you put black on, you feel your best? Do you notice when you put on your camel colored cashmere sweater, you feel your best? So think about that. Think about the colors you love to put on your body and incorporate those colors into the space that you're working on or in various spaces around your home. Think about the materials that really, really make you feel amazing. Do you love natural materials? Do you love wool? Do you love washed linen? Think about those materials that really speak to you and make you feel amazing, and bring those into your home. Are you a gold or a silver fan? We just talked about that a little bit. Make sure you incorporate some metallics for sure. And then any favorite accent pieces, patterns, graphics. Do you love vintage florals? Do you love stripes? I mean, you can incorporate a stripe literally in anything, ticking stripes or something that feels more nautical. There's a variety of scale. There's a variety of tonalities. You can really take your favorite accents and patterns and translate them in a variety of ways that really can work in your space. So again, if this resonated with you and you want to try it in your own home, but you want to reference what we talked about, this will be available on my blog by next Saturday at thefreshmaker.net. Just click on design tips and you can see the blog about today's presentation, as well as all of the ones that we've done in the past. And if you have any questions while you're working on your home, you can just click the hot button and contact me, shoot me a quick question, and I'd be happy to answer it for you. Big thank you guys for coming, and I would love to hear any questions that you may have, if you have any at all.
I have one.
Yes.
It's got nothing to do with alpha, but it's got to do with woods. Can you mix the color woods in a room? Does everything have to totally match the same grain?
That is a great question. Yes, you can totally mix woods. You can totally mix woods. My rule is, again, just making sure that you repeat that tone at least, 3 times total within the room. And it doesn't have to be repeating the wood, it can be repeating the tone. So for example, if you have a walnut that has like this gorgeous rich tone, you can have a pillow in the same tone. And then you can have a lamp that has a little walnut accent and it's mostly stone, for example. But now you've got that walnut tone 3 different times. So absolutely, yes, you can totally mix wood. And I think it looks better to mix. Otherwise, it can start to feel too matchy. And sometimes that can be the reason that your room is not working.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a question.
Yes.
About greenery.
Yes.
I noticed that in each one of the rooms that you showed, there was some greenery, whether it was a plant, a tree. So would you comment on what greenery adds to a room, how much you should have, and whether it's a good idea to have it or not?
Sure. I 100% always suggest to all of my clients to add at least one living thing to every room. And what's wonderful about that is having something living in the space just creates a better energy in the space, but also plants can really help soften all of the hard edges of your furniture. So if you think about sofas, chairs, bookcases, most of the furniture pieces that we have in our home, a TV console, they're rectangular and square, and they have a lot of hard edges. So balancing that out with plants really can help kind of start to make your room have that yin and yang that I think makes it really feel successful. So I recommend usually, honestly, as many plants as you can have, but I love at least one floor plant, and it does not have to be real. There are so many faux floor plants now. You can get them in places everywhere from Target to Crate and Barrel and CB2, those sorts of places. And make sure at least that your fake plant is in a real pot. That's the way that you make it actually look realistic, more realistic. But a floor plan is great for a corner, or it's great kind of right at the edge of a bookcase to soften that really hard edge. And then a little plant in the windowsill is great to, again, soften the corner of that window, to put on top of a stack of books to really help, I like to say, punctuate those books and make that little vignette feel complete. I love putting something in the center of the coffee table. That can be tricky if you have pets. So there are some pet-friendly plants that won't make your animals sick. Otherwise, I love just a little tiny vase of fresh flowers. Or those of you who have seen me speak before know that I love going in the woods and collecting like weird little plants and branches and things to kind of put all over. So that could be a great place for your the little branches you found, things like that. So they don't have to match anything green in the room. It sort of acts as a neutral. They don't have to have the same color as each other. They'll just inherently go with your space, and they'll inherently just soften everything a little bit and make it feel a little bit more pulled together.
I have a question for you.
Question?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm doing over my summer home at Plum Island.
Okay.
And right now we have wall-to-wall carpeting.
Yes.
Is it better to do wall-to-wall again or put hardwood floors in?
That's a great question. I generally suggest hardwood floors and then an area rug. And the reason I say that is because it gives you a lot more flexibility, especially if it's a vacation home where there's a lot of inside outside. Then you don't have to worry about foot traffic. You don't have to worry about pets getting the carpet dirty. It allows for a more casual, laid back atmosphere if someone forgets to take off their shoes, easier to clean and maintain. And then there are a variety of rugs that you can get in a variety of price points that are relatively inexpensive, or they even make washable rugs now, which is crazy. A brand called Ruggable allows you to literally throw that right in the washing machine. So yes, I would recommend hardwood floors with a rug versus wall to wall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Especially with all the sand at Plum Island, right?
Would you say, pardon me?
Especially with all the sand.
That's
Plum
right.
Island, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Not only that, but hardwood floors rather than wall to wall basically adds more value to the property, and it's better resale value.
Absolutely true. Anybody else? Anyone have a favorite outfit they want to share? And we can talk about how that would translate into the room of your dreams. Awesome. Well, then looks like we get to play hooky a little early and enjoy the sunshine. But before I let you guys all go, I do want to do a little brief overview of what you can expect next month. I know the title Design Fundamentals can be a little obscure. So I just wanted to give you a brief overview. But basically next month, we're going to be talking about all of the key components that really make good design successful. We're going to talk about scale and how to use it. We're going to talk about having different focal points. We're going to talk about texture. We're going to talk about form and color and all of those fun things. So it'll be sort of a design 101 that you guys can take with you if you want to zhuzh your rooms and keep some of those key elements in mind.
I have another question.
Yes.
In a room, do you recommend that you put pictures on every wall or keep some of the walls bare?
That's a great question. I 100% recommend keeping walls bare. The reason for that is you need negative space to counterbalance the positive space. And the positive space would be all of those areas where you have your gorgeous artwork, or you have a tall sculptural lamp, something like that, that catches your eye, all of those little focal points around the room. You need some negative areas to help make it feel, not feel too busy. So absolutely save some of the walls for, let them be alone.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right, everybody.
Well, thank you so much, Stacey. And thank you for the questions too. They were great. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we look forward to next month for sure. You're always wonderful, Stacey. Really one of our best presenters. We really appreciate it.
Well, my pleasure. I hope some of you guys go into your closet and find that unicorn and restyle your room and tell me about it next month. I'd love to hear it. So
Excellent. Great challenge.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Love to see you all.
Bye.
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 Thank you. What?
Sorry,